afternoon, listeners. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman's Dialogue. I am sitting here chilling with my co-host, Soloman. Welcome, my brother.
Oh, yeah. Happy to be back, man.
Today, man, I think we want to talk about something that some people don't deem as something that's really important. And then most of them say it doesn't even really need to be discussed, but it really, really, really does. We need to talk about, or the question rather is, how important is money when it comes to a relationship? Many of the divorces that we see here in the United States, the number one reason typically that contributes to the divorce ties into money, financial conditions, or something that was money related. And at the end of the day, I guess we have to ask the question: how important is money? Should both people be in a certain financial place before they decide to come together in a relationship? And when I'm talking relationship now, I'm really more so talking more so marriage at this point, because it's kind of iffy, if you're just dating, even though the dating part does lead into the marriage, and the things that you see during the dating time kind of will give you an idea of what it is you're going to be dealing with long term if you decide to take the relationship to the next level. Does money really matter in terms of if the man makes more money than the woman, or if the woman makes more money than the man? I have noticed that it's very difficult for a man, or for many men, to accept the fact that they're married to a woman or in a relationship with a woman who makes more money than them. You have a lot of men that feel some sort of way, as if some of their masculinity has been removed or taken because the woman makes more money than they do. And I guess, Solomon, for you, if you're dating a woman and, let's just say, let's just say you make a lot more money than this woman, and you guys have been dating, and you guys are going to take it to the next level, and you're talking about marriage or whatever. What type of financial conversation would you have with her prior to you guys taking it to the next level? What topic pieces would you discuss? Would you talk about, hey, look, yeah, I know I make more money. However, you still have some guidelines that, we as a couple will have to follow, no matter how much money I make, and no matter how much money or how little money you may make. We still have to have some guidelines put in place. We need to make sure that we have a good financial plan in place, whatever the case may be. But what are some of the things that you guys would talk about, or you would make in terms of making it a critical thing to discuss prior to taking that relationship to the next level, i.e. marriage?
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Because that's what I would definitely do is, outside of marriage counseling, when we sit down and discuss finances, the main thing we would have to meet with the minds is to compare each other's financial habits. Because financial habits play a big part in how the finances are divided. I definitely want to know how she thinks as far as money, because I say, to me, maintaining money is a skill, and understanding the way money works is like learning a new language, because in a way, money it's almost like a living thing, the way it's tied to our lifestyle, because everything we do for the most part, revolves around a dollar. And when you have two people coming together, it's important that we're as close as possible, if not on the exact same page about how that dollar is spent, because that can easily be a recipe for disaster, or, you know, like you mentioned earlier, the main reason why people divorce in the first place. And these conversations definitely need to be had before the relationship goes to the next level. So we would go from A to Z. I would ask, we would share credit scores. We would learn each other's financial patterns. How is she with money? I need to know that, because and she would also need to know, or they need to know, how am I with money? Because just because somebody makes more money, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're more financially educated than the other person.
Really good point.
So it would be the financial understanding of how well do I speak the language of money versus how well my partner speaks the language. And we would definitely discuss other ideas like, you know, extra money outside of the budget. If we have extra money left over, where does it go? Does it, you know, do we put it in our savings? Do we put it towards something that we're investing in, that we're building together? Because actually, in my previous relationship, some of these conversations we didn't have, and that's what led to a lot of arguments. And we fell right in that stereotype, because I saw, and it's so funny because we thought we covered all the bases. We talked about kids. We talked about where we want to live. We talked about how we want to live. But the number one thing that we didn't discuss, not that we were necessarily avoiding it, but it just never came to our mind because we were so focused on other things, is the money. And it was a situation where, you know, I would have a few extra dollars and I would go and I would say buy something for myself. And, you know, it's like, well, hey, you know, why are you out here shopping? And, you know, we haven't finalized the plans for a down payment on a house. So it's definitely a thing where you want to make sure that you understand how well your partner speaks the language of finance, because it's definitely, it's a huge thing next to communication and all that stuff, because it's part of the backbone of the relationship. And if you're trying to build a house with a shaky foundation, then it's not going to last long, just like your relationship.
That's right.
So definitely make sure that you understand what your partner thinks about money. Do they respect money? Are they good with money? Are they just reckless? Who needs to be the accountant in the relationship? Because I know some people, they're like, hey, if I have $1 in my pocket, I got $1 to spend.
Right.
And,
yeah, that's a good point.
You know,
yeah.
And with other people, it's like, okay, I have $1, but I need to make sure that, you know, things are in the right place before I even think about getting past 50 cents. So
quick question then. So when people are, you know, again, let's go ahead and create the scenario that you're already past the dating stage, right? Guys are in a committed relationship, and you guys are getting ready to even embark upon marriage.
Right.
Once the couple is married, or even prior to getting married, should the couple decide that, hey, I'll have my account, you'll have your account,
right?
But we will also have a common, what we call house account, that we both contribute money to cover expenses, household expenses, as well as even some savings for investments that we may want to do later. What are your thoughts on that?
You know what? That's an excellent point. And you just made me think, because that really ties into what I was just saying, is being as close to as possible, if not exactly on the same page about money. Because the joint account, I know a lot of people have different views on it. Some people think that, they should just put every penny in there. And me personally, in my previous relationship, we were actually on opposite sides of the coin with that situation, because she wanted to have a joint account that we put all the money into, and I didn't. I honestly, the way that I look at my finances, I didn't see the necessity in it. And that may be, some people may look at that and think that that's a ignorant view or anything, but at the time, that's just what I thought, because I'm very disciplined with my finances. And when I think about a joint account, it was, to me, in a way, it was giving up control. Because when I check my accounts, I know if I have $60 in the account, I know that unless I go swipe my debit card, I still have that $60.
Yeah, right.
But when you have a joint account, if you put every penny in there, it can get tricky, because you might have that $60 or whatever amount of money in the account. And if your spouse decides to go do something, you think money's there that actually isn't. And the crazy thing is, the bank, they don't update as often, in my opinion, as they should, because I can't tell you how many times I've been in, I'll check my account, and my account will say one number, and then I'll think that I have that money in there, but then it'll slip my mind that I got gas the other day and the transaction just hadn't shown up yet. So ultimately, when it comes to joint accounts, I think that personally that it's a comfort zone in a way for the other partner. So when the partner who doesn't necessarily make as much money, because even if they're not taking care of the finances, then it's like, okay, well, at least I can check this account and know that the mortgage was paid. I know that, I can get in my car and I can go somewhere and I don't have to worry about the repo man trying to track me down.
Yeah.
So what me and in my previous situation, what we ultimately decided was we would get a joint account and it would be strictly for bills. And the way that we were going to divide the finances is we were going to budget our monthly finances, cell phone, car insurance, the rent that we were paying at the place we were staying, and whatever that monthly amount is, we would put that amount in the account, and then we would pay the bills, and everything that was left over, what I had left over went to my personal checking account, and what she had left over went to her personal checking account.
Okay.
So I think that it's definitely one of those necessary evils, because it can definitely be a touchy subject, especially, and I learned that too, when you're in a situation where, you make more, or like you said, if your spouse is making more money than you, especially as a man, it can definitely feel emasculating. But it definitely needs a conversation that needs to be had, so you all will be on the same page. And as far as joint accounts, I'd say do what works for you. Some people, I don't see how it would work out for me, but some people, it's like, hey, the joint account, what I make and what you make, what's mine is yours and yours is mine.
Well, so then what if this person that you're about to marry simply does not want to talk about money? Because see, that's not a comfortable conversation for
really good point.
A lot of people.
Right.
So should that be an automatic red flag? If the person that you're about to commit to, be married to, if you want to try to be on the same page with this individual when it comes to the future finances, or the collective finances for both people, to under one roof, would that make you think twice if this person avoids the conversation? Would it appear that they're hiding something? Would it appear that again, there's just something that they don't want you to know? what I mean, how would you handle that? How would you handle a person that, or the whole topic about someone not wanting to discuss their finances? What would you do?
That's a great point. And immediately in my mind, that's an automatic red flag, because that's the most important thing, because the first thing that will come to my mind is, what are you trying to hide? Because there's something, if money is an issue, I mean, I could understand if it was maybe something that I didn't know. Like something that, it could have been like a personal situation, like maybe something happened in your childhood and you're really careful with who you talk about it, and you don't know if
like a car repossession 7 years ago or whatever.
Right, okay. Right. But that is something that you definitely need to, it needs to be known up front, because that definitely ties into the importance of knowing how that other person views money. Because if they're not good with money, then we need to have that conversation. And if you're not gonna if you're gonna try to just spring that on me last minute, involuntarily, so if we wound up trying to go do something, like we might try to go get a house and both of us want to be on the mortgage, but now the bank is coming back and saying, hey, we're not going to lend you a pencil because, your co-applicant, they have a bankruptcy, or, and it hasn't passed 7 years, or they may have a car repossessed recently. And that's definitely something that needs to be set up front, because that would make me think 3 times, if that were the case. And that's definitely, to me, that's an automatic red flag, because it's like, what are you hiding?
Quick question. Should couples then, how early in a relationship do you think then, since money is such an important topic, how early do you introduce that? I guess I ask that question the same way in which, some people, let's just say they go out on it, they're dating, right?
Yeah.
First start dating, and a lot of people have discussed, when is it too soon to mention the word marriage? Not necessarily that this is a person you're saying that, hey, I want to marry, but just the whole conversation, because sometimes the conversation of marriage scares some people off altogether.
Very true.
Right? So how soon should you talk about it? Do you wait until you think that this person is maybe that keeper, that one, that right person? Or do you bring it up sooner than that, just to give you an idea of what their mindset is as it relates to finances? When do you think you should have that, or at least not necessarily a discussion, but when do you think it just should come up in conversation?
I think that, like you said, the idea of, hey, what do you think about marriage? What's your views on children, or what do you want to do with your life? It's a tricky, it's the answer. I don't think there's a definite answer, because everybody's different, but I would say if you get to the point where you decide that you may not necessarily have your mind made up that you want to date, but if they're high on your priority list as far as options that you're currently pursuing as far as relationships, I would say it's definitely something that you'd probably want to bring up maybe by the 3rd, if not the 4th time that you all meet each other. Or I would say, from the moment, like you said earlier, from the moment that you decide, like, okay, well, if you both mutually decide, hey, we want to see where this goes beyond the initial talking and dating stages, because at that point you're starting to make the decision that your lives could be on the path to combining. And it's almost like it's a trick question in a way, because I don't think that there's I don't think that there's a right answer.
Okay.
I'd say it's going to sound kind of vague, but definitely, I think this shouldn't be brought up too soon.
Gotcha.
Because if you're on the first date with somebody and it's like, hey, what's your name? What's your credit score? You know, it's like, what? And like you said, marriage is, you know, for a lot of people, it's a big subject. And just bringing it up, it could definitely make the person get cold feet or be like, you know, well, hey, I'm not, you know, I'm not looking for anything serious right now. And they're already talking about marriage. Maybe this is someone who I shouldn't be, you know, I don't think I need to pursue this any further beyond this date that we're currently on or whatever the case may be. So I would overall, I'd say don't wait too long, but don't bring it up too soon either. Because I actually heard this woman on this TikTok video talking, and she said that it blew my mind. And she said, I don't know if she was just talking or not, but she said when she goes on the first date with people, she's marriage minded. And the thing that blew my mind is she said, when I go on a date, I know the type of money that I want my ideal partner to make. So I asked them, can I see your bank account? And
wow.
I said, man, that blew my mind. And she said that 3 guys, she's been on 3 dates since she came up with this idea, and they agreed to it. And me, if that's too much for day one. It's almost like meeting somebody for the first time and it's like, hey man, how's it going? And then it's like, oh man, they just pour out their life story. Like, oh, you know, I'm stressed out right now. You know, I'm going through this, a family member's in the hospital and I'm from here. So I think that you kind of have to just let things go with the flow in a way.
Naturally matriculate, in other words.
Yes.
Because that's I mean, in the beginning, I understood what she may have been saying because, you know, when you date, you should date for purpose.
Yes.
And not just for the hell of it.
Right.
However, you're talking about on the first date, asking, you know, hey, I know what kind of money, you know, I want my guy to make, so I need to see your account, you know, and that's just like me saying, well, I guess, you know, I know what kind of sex I want. I know what kind of head I want. So maybe on the first date, can you show me what I'm getting into or what I'm working with? I mean,
right.
And I use that just as an example because that's to me a really, the example I used was far-fetched, but I also think that what she's asking is far-fetched. So that's why I use that scenario to kind of compare it against. But you know, and I guess if you know, first of all, and as I think about this, first of all, for you to sit on a first date and ask me to see my numbers like that, I have a problem with that.
I do too.
I think that also tells me that not sure that this is the kind of woman that I want to be with, because I'm just not. I'm all about business too. Trust me, I'm about my business, but that I think takes it to a whole nother level.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I'm probably. I may not walk out on a date, but I do know that would be our last date. As a matter of fact, I'll probably let her know. You know, this. First of all, this isn't the right time for you to. You know, for us to even be talking about my savings account or my checking account, my 401k or whatever it is you're discussing, my investments. This is not the time. However, you know, in the meantime, you know, I do want croutons on my grilled chicken salad.
Okay.
But outside of that, you know, I'm not really I'm not feeling that. You know, again, and you know, and if there's some guys out there who have done that or would do that on the first date, man, let us know. I want to hear about this, you know, and has this happened to you before? You know, are you in a situation where, you know, and I think either side, men or women, you know, if this is something you've heard, man, hit me up. I'd like to read your story on the show.
Oh, yeah.
hit us, send me a line through here at gentlemansdialogue@gmail.com, and just say, hey, this is in regards to money conversations, reference show number 2. Know exactly what show it'll be, but I'd definitely like to get some feedback, because I would love to read some of the emails and stories. Of course, we'd leave all information confidential in terms of names, and but if you want to put John from Dallas or Carolyn from Florida, you can do that. But outside of that, we wouldn't put any information out there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, very interesting conversation, very interesting topic. Solo man, we've wrapped up another one, and we want everybody to be ready. We're as soon as we hit the stop button on this one, we're going to go ahead and start rolling on episode number 3. We're going to keep them coming, and keep them fresh, and again, provide your feedback to us as you hear. Give us good, good, the bad, and the ugly. We want all of that. It's just like a business. You want your customers to give you their feedback. Give us some subject matter that you want discussed. It may be something personal for you that you want to talk about. Send us a line, send us a note, and we'll be able to address that directly. We'll address it immediately via email, and we'll go from there, and we'll see what happens. And if again, hey, maybe you can come in and be a guest on the show. If you're in the ATL area, or even if you just want to call in, we can make that happen as well. Because right now we're only doing audio podcast, but in the very near future we're going to go ahead. We'll be doing these for video upload, and we'll be able to really reach a larger number of people. We're going to use every avenue out there to get this podcast out and get these conversations out. So, we wrapped up another one. Hey, Solo, my brother, it's always a pleasure.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm happy to be here. And, like my brother Steve said earlier, just to expand a little bit on what he said about your feedback, definitely reach out to us, because some people, you may be in a situation where if you think that, you can't talk to anybody, but you have something that you need to say, something that you need to express. You might not even need advice. You might just want to be heard. Exactly. Definitely reach out to us, and
that's right. Communicating.
Just communicate. Let us know, because we want to reach the people who we want to reach everybody, but we definitely want to make sure we reach the people who are always seen, but they don't feel like they're heard. And if you need us to be that voice, so it's like, okay, I can't say this directly because of my job or because of the people around me, but maybe if I send it to them, then they can at least let the world know where I'm coming from, so I feel like I'm heard. Definitely reach out to us and let us know, because we definitely be happy to get your feedback and hear what you think, and we want to know what's on your mind.
Absolutely.
We let you know what's on our mind, and we can have these conversations to just bring enlightenment to different topics and subjects, and so on and so forth. And
you just never know what someone is going through. A lot of people are right now, as we record this podcast, they're sitting in a dark room somewhere going through depression. Whether it's depression related to just life in general, brought on by, maybe someone has suffered a loss. Whether that loss being a physical loss of an individual, or a divorce, or loss of a job, or just whatever. Just know that you're not in this alone. You are not
absolutely
by yourself. And sometimes it takes a total stranger for you to be able to reach out to, but we are here for you.
Yes,
we definitely want you to know that we're here. Again, we're always open to communicate. If you need to, again, shoot us an email. And some people just don't even want, they don't even want to talk in person, but they can text or they can email. Look, we're here for that. We want you to know that a lot of times men suffer in silence, more so than women. But we don't want anybody suffering in silence. We don't want you suffering at all.
Right.
So if you need to, just, hey, shoot us an emails. Hey, I'm going through something. We have a lot of resources at our fingertips. So we may be able to point you in a direction.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's a real, serious situation. We can point you in the right direction. We can get you the help that's needed. From everything from the emotional, the spiritual, financial, whatever. We have resources that are out there that will help you. So again, you never know what someone is going through. So be kind to everyone. And until the next episode, hey, we're signing off. Thanks again for listening. Enjoy your day.
Oh yeah.